lies will be exposed.
Hey everyone, cheers and salutations. If you're watching this live stream, actually it's a recording, but there will be a live stream later this evening, 9 p.m. Central, night writing. But I think it's only fair that we at least address this for this morning, talking about the overall fallout and the names that are being revealed thanks to the hard work of Representative Thomas Massie and Representative Khanna. Again, folks, we are only scratching the surface of just how corrupt, how sick, and depraved the Epstein files are. And again, looking at the stuff that's being found already and more stuff that's being observed, names that are being unredacted, it is abundantly clear that there was a system and infrastructure put in place to protect the 1%. Those who knew Epstein would do everything to protect themselves, Epstein, and their depravity. And let's face it, women, children, men were all exploited, hurt, used, abused by Epstein and his sick followers, okay? It's a system of blackmail, intrigue, power, and Epstein was involved in every single element in this country, be it technology, be it politics, Wall Street, banks, Hollywood, the music industry, you name it, he was there, even in the gaming industry. So as it stands, Representative Thomas Massie and Khanna actually had a chance to see some of the unredacted files, and there were 6 names that really stood out. And here's a video right now in which they were talking about what they saw. And later on, I'll be playing another video of Khanna naming the names. And as we delve deeper into this, it's very clear that Trump and his administration have a lot to answer for, including the other previous administrations too. See, it's all of them, Democrat and Republican. And just a side note, Bill Clinton was good friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and surprise, surprise, so was Donald Trump. It's a big club, and thank God you're not part of it. You don't want to be part of that club. And these billionaires need to be exposed. All their names need to be unredacted, and the victims deserve justice, and the American people deserve justice. And whatever system we have here right now, it just doesn't work.
How much new information then did you see that was unredacted, or did it look pretty similar to what we've seen publicly?
I mean, what we're after is the men who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked women to. We want those names published. We're not out to embarrass people. And the problem is we went in there hoping to see that in 302 forms. What we found out is those 302 forms were redacted before they got to the DOJ. So, but our legislation directs the FBI, which is the agency that produced those 302 forms, to also produce these documents. The Attorney General is ultimately responsible for that production. So that's why we're here at the DOJ to view these files. But there needs to be more information given in those 302s. So I was disappointed we didn't find that. But it's also clear, just sort of as a checking their homework, that they need to do a little more homework. There are 6 men. We went in there for 2 hours. There's millions of files, right? And in a couple of hours, we found 6 men whose names have been redacted, who are implicated in the way that the files are presented.
Some of which will be identified as co-conspirators. And one in particular, this was an email that was garnering everyone's attention, where a supposed person loved a torture video that Epstein sent them. These billionaires are sick bastards. You know that scene in Avengers where Captain America goes up to Tony Stark and says, "Billionaire, what happens when you take all that money away from you?" And Tony Stark sarcastically says, "Philanthropist, playboy, all that kind of BS." At the end of the day, if you really look at who these billionaires are, these current guys, right? Take away their $1 billion, they're nothing but awkward, weird people that you don't want to sit next to at all. Be it on a train ride, bus ride, in your local public library. You don't want to sit near them because they're awkward and they probably need medication. All right. They're probably not well in the head because these billionaires are sick. There's nothing honorable about them. Okay. I mean, for Christ's sakes, at least one email in particular that Epstein mailed himself. He's having a conversation about Bill Gates getting an STD. I mean, come on. These sick billionaires knew who he was. They were all part of his little circle. Don't look me in the eye and tell me that none of them knew about his depravity. They knew. They all knew, and they protected each other. You want to know why things are so bad right now? It's because these billionaires are donating to politicians to make sure our lives are miserable, because they are miserable people too.
And finally, the documents that they put up and decided for one reason or another they had to take back down. I was hoping to see those here. They didn't appear to be in the database that we were able to search. For those ostensibly are wholly redacted files now. We know they exist. They published them for a brief period of time and pulled them back. They need to answer to us as to, do they intend to redact those files and put them back up and put them in the database so that we can search them and see if it was appropriate to take them back down from the website.
Are these men U.S. citizens? What fields do they work in? Is it finance? Is it political?
At least one is a U.S. citizen. At least one is a foreigner. And the other 3 or 4 have names. I'm not sure if they're foreign or U.S.
And which field do they work in? Is it finance, banking, political?
One is pretty high up in the foreign government.
And some are there. One of the others is a pretty prominent individual. But I think that the point is that these 6 are just what we found in 2 hours of a review of the files that aren't redacted. The broader issue is why so many of the files they're getting are redacted in the first place. And until that becomes unredacted, the main things that they're sending to the career attorneys to review, I don't think we're going to have full compliance with the law. Get to the question that most Americans want to know. Who were the rich and powerful people who went to this island? Did they rape underage girls? Did they know that underage girls were being paraded around? And after seeing this, I don't blame the U.S. attorneys, the assistant U.S. attorneys reviewing it. If they're reviewing redacted material, what are they supposed to do? But they're getting, it seems like, material that's already been redacted.
And no one should be surprised about that. It's because they're trying to cover it up, okay? You know, I saw Trump and his administration work super, super fast to go after the Somali fraud in Minnesota, you know, deliver subpoenas to Governor Tim Walz and the mayor of Minneapolis and other Democrat lawmakers in Minnesota. Saw the Trump administration move super fast during the ICE crisis in Minnesota. You know, hell, they moved super fast to arrest the president of Venezuela. But man, are they dragging their feet on this? Talk about the law and order president. Huh? Listen, I don't care where you stand. And by the way, before anyone types in the comments section, oh, but if Kamala was president, she would have done so. No, they would not have. Okay? These same files could have been released under the Biden-Harris administration. And I better not hear any excuses of, well, they couldn't do this. No. They could have if they wanted to, but they didn't. And you know what? I'll be arrogant enough to say that if Kamala was president, I don't think the Epstein files would have been released. I don't think there would have been much more pressure because Trump was running on quote unquote transparency. At the end of the day, Democrat politicians, Republican politicians, Democrat donors, Republican donors, they're in the Epstein files. Your favorite celebrities are in the Epstein files. Your favorite philosophers, philanthropists, musicians. I mean, come on. If they're in the Epstein files, there's no such thing as innocence, only varying degrees of guilt because they all could have had the power. They all had the power to stop them, and they didn't. You want to know why? Because they liked being in Epstein's inner circle. And the quote, Prince Andrew's ex, Lady Victoria, if you're not in the Epstein files, you're uncool. You're a bit of a loser. Okay? So I view those billionaires as losers. Here's Khanna naming the names, as he should.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday, Congressman Massie and I went to the Department of Justice to read the unredacted Epstein files. We spent about 2 hours there, and we learned that 70 to 80% of the files are still redacted. In fact, there were 6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. When Congressman Massie and I pointed this out to the Department of Justice, they acknowledged their mistake, and now they have revealed the identity of these 6 powerful men. These men are Salvatore Navora, Zorab Mikoladze, Leopig Leonor, Nicola Caputa, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World,
Gee, I wonder if he liked a certain email.
billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner, who was labeled as a co-conspirator by the FBI. Now, my question is, why did it take Thomas Massie and me going to the Justice Department to get these 6 men's identities to become public? And if we found 6 men that they were hiding in 2 hours, imagine how many men they are covering up for in those 3 million files. But the story gets worse. The reality is that Donald Trump's FBI scrubbed these files in March, long before Thomas Massie and I passed the Epstein Transparency Act.
Thank you, Mr.
I also want to point out something here, too, just so you guys know. Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem named by Massie over Epstein torture video. So Kentucky Republican Representative Thomas Massie named the Emirati businessman Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem as the individual Jeffrey Epstein had emailed about a torture video. If they're willing to email torture videos to each other, what else do you think they're willing to do? What else do you think they're willing to do? What else do you think they're willing to do and share? Okay, what else do you think they're going to do? These billionaires are not your friends. They're not your buddies. They don't care about you because they don't like you. They don't think about you. They don't respect you.
Now, my bill is clear. The Epstein Transparency Act requires them to unredact those FBI files. And yet the Justice Department said to me and to Congressman Massie, we just uploaded whatever the FBI sent us. And guess what? The FBI sent scrubbed files. That means the survivor's statement to the FBI naming rich and powerful men who went to Epstein's island, who went to his ranch, who went to his home and raped and abused underage girls or saw underage girls being paraded, they're all hidden. They're all redacted. It's a little bit of a farce. They're inviting all the members of Congress to go to see the Department of Justice, quote unquote, unredacted files, but they've got all redacted files from the FBI. And it's not the fault of the Justice Department attorneys. They were just told upload things that Donald Trump's FBI had already scrubbed. It's a blatant violation of the Epstein Transparency Act, but it also asks a fundamental question. Who are they protecting? Why are they protecting these rich and powerful men, people I call part of the Epstein class? Why are we in a country where there is no elite accountability for people who do the most heinous things? You have in England, the king now calling for an investigation and possible prosecution of his own brother.
Hey, people of Britannia, never forget your true Roman name. Yeah, we're seeing that get done there. Boy, I wish we had that here, but you want to know why? It's because thanks to our wonderful system where we legalize bribery, where money is speech, corporations are people, the top 1%, the laws of the land don't apply to them. So they're protected. The loophole is that they bought our politicians and our judicial system at the federal and state level so they can get away with bloody murder. You want to know why things suck? Do you want to know why you got crap in your water? You want to know why the soil's contaminated, the air's contaminated, the food we eat is terrible? You want to know why you're being taxed to death, why you can't own a home? It's because these billionaires are buying off our politicians to make our lives miserable. Because they're not human, not human, not human, not human. They want to create a new fiefdom and have us as their permanent slaves so they could take advantage of us and do whatever they want to us. They want to expand it all over the place. I'm sorry, but we live in the absolute universe, and I'm going to drop that DC reference. Yes, the absolute universe is an alternate universe to the DC universe, right? And instead of Batman being a billionaire, which I'm so glad that Bane broke his back in the Dark Knight movie. That was so great. You know, now I look at that scene, I'm like, yeah, kick his ass, Bane. But in the absolute universe, Batman is broke, but the trillionaire is the Joker. And he's a combination of Satan and Epstein, owning properties, ranches, islands all over the place. We live in the absolute universe, and we have an absolute joker named Epstein who bought everybody and knew everybody and was able to get away with all sorts of sick things. And your favorite person, celebrity or politician, philanthropist, scientist, philosopher, wanted to be his best friend.
You have in Norway the princess who no longer has support to be the queen. And yet in the United States of America, we have someone in the cabinet, Howard Lutnick, who is all over these Epstein files, who allegedly had business with Epstein after he was convicted of pedophilia, and he still is in the cabinet. We need to ask ourselves, are we in America going to have elite accountability? Are we going to call on rich and powerful people who broke the law or cavorted with a pedophile, a convicted pedophile? Are we going to call them to account? Are we going to have prosecutions for billionaires who went to this island and either raped underage girls or saw underage girls being raped and didn't say anything? Are we going to have investigations? I'll tell you what this is about. It's not just about the 1,200 survivors. It's about 2 tiers of justice in America. It's about people who can accumulate wealth and power and don't have to care about the rest of America. They have destroyed so much of this country. Income inequality is at a 60-year high. Worker salaries are less than they have been for 75 years as a part of GDP.
You see? They want to hurt us. They don't view us as human, so we in turn should not view these billionaires as geniuses, because they're not. So we shouldn't view them with respect or view them as humans either, because they're not human. They protected that scumbag Epstein. And to anyone that's saying that these files are just, oh, we can't worry about it. Here's a whole bunch of other congressmen and women, save for Thomas Massie and Khanna, who are also calling these billionaires sick bastards when they see the redacted files.
There are lots of names, lots of co-conspirators, and they're trafficking girls all across the world.
A bunch of sick fucks.
9-year-old victims. Initially, my reaction to all this was, I don't care. I don't know what the big deal is. But now I see what the big deal is.
You mentioned that there are some things that have been.
See, now that's disturbing right there, you know? And the senator says, I don't know what the big deal is. Well, the big deal is that, you know, we have a government that protected a PDF file, who trafficked young girls, did all sorts of things to them. I mean, it's all there. And he was best friends with Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Oh, I'm sorry. That might trigger some diehard Republican voters and diehard Democrat voters. Well, I'm sorry if Bill Clinton and Donald Trump did not have the fortitude, soul, backbone, integrity to stand up to a PDF file. In fact, they were best friends with him. Yeah. Your buddy, your guy, Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, Epstein's best friend and defender. They took care of him, and he took care of them. And don't look me in the eye and tell me that they didn't know, because they knew. And you know that they knew. Wake up to reality. Your heroes were never heroes.
Redacted that probably shouldn't have been redacted.
Yeah, 6 men's names. One of them's listed as a co-conspirator. Why would you redact his name?
I believe that there were tons of completely unnecessary redactions in addition to the failure to redact the names of victims.
Most of the unredacted files were redacted. 70-80% of the documents the DOJ got were redacted from the FBI. A lot of it was smoke and mirrors.
One was related to whether or not Trump had ever kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, as he claimed.
What'd you
And
find?
that is not. It's not true.
Some of the people.
Oof. That's not pretty for Donald Trump. Hey, listen. Trump, you ran on transparency. You swore on that, right? Unredact all the files. You shouldn't have anything to be afraid of, and I don't care if it embarrasses the billionaires. People are going to find out. There are so many mad dog geniuses in the internet right now. Have at it! To the lone wolves, to the Dexters, to the spy masters. Guys, unredact the files, unredact the names. Let's find out who these people are and hold them accountable. But Kit, can we even do that? Yes, we can. It is very possible. And it's okay, because we don't have to respect these bastards who protected Epstein. We don't have to respect them. These people who protected Epstein do not deserve your admiration or respect or forgiveness. They had a trafficking ring happening. They created a system in which we bled and slaved over. All the while that blood was being used so they can enjoy their more sick, depraved behaviors. These people aren't human. These billionaires are not human. These actors and actresses, these celebrities, these Hollywood elite. I mean, come on. They knew about Harvey Weinstein. They knew about the Diddy parties. Shoot, ain't no party like a Diddy party, right? Anyone who was there at a Diddy party had to stand up driving back home. They couldn't sit in their car because of the egg test. If it was an egg. Oh, what? I can't be mean to celebrities? I can't be mean to these people who are fake? It's okay. To my audience, be meaner. Be meaner.
People that are in the most egregious redactions are claiming to be victims, and I don't think that they're victims if you're engaging in child sex trafficking.
Do you support any clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell? She was saying that she
I
was...
do not.
Okay.
I think Ghislaine Maxwell should get more time, and she should definitely be in a harsher prison than what she's in. It's absolutely disgusting.
What's your message to Pam Bondi after what you saw today?
Need to do a little more work. This is bringing down the British government, and they bring down the British monarchy. It's bringing down countries and the elites across the country. What are we doing here in the United States to stand up to the Epstein class?
Exactly. I want to pull this up here. Rand Paul and Thomas Massie held a town hall in Kentucky. And you know what? Listen, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican, but I will say this. I do hope that at least Rand Paul and Thomas Massie win their seats. Again, I don't know how I feel about voting this midterm election cycle. Early voting's happening in Illinois, and I just don't think I got the solar stomach to even vote. But we do need people to stand up. And here's a little interesting snippet from that town hall of Thomas Massie and Rand Paul.
I want to talk about a little bill that I got passed back in November. Maybe you've seen it in the news. Maybe you've seen it on the internet. It's called the Epstein Files Transparency Act. It gave the DOJ 30 days to publish all of the Epstein files. Well, they missed their deadline. And that's bad enough, but they made some other mistakes. They accidentally, against the law says don't release victims' information, but they say that it was an accident. They released the names of victims, which they weren't supposed to do. And the most concerning thing is they're still covering up files or they're over-redacting files. This week, starting on Monday, I had a chance to go to the DOJ and look at the unredacted files. And I found, out of those millions of documents, I just looked at 40 of them. And I found 3 documents where they were redacting names of co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein in the sex trafficking ring.
Right.
Leslie Wexner is one of them. He's a former CEO. He's still alive. He should go to court. He's listed in the FBI's documents as a co-conspirator. And then several other names that I forced to release. There's a very troubling email in the Epstein files where somebody sends Epstein a torture video. And he says, I really enjoyed the torture video.
Correction. The torture video was sent to Epstein. Oh, God. Oh, God. That's even worse.
Well, they had redacted who it came from. And I went in there. I got the email that it came from. And I was able to use the DOJ's own computers to match the email up with an individual. And it's a sultan from overseas that Jeffrey Epstein interacted with quite frequently. So we just in the last 2 days have released more names.
Now, just an idea of who these names are again. Les Wexner. Let's actually talk about who is Les Wexner. Well, he's an 88-year-old former CEO who established a retail empire that includes Victoria's Secret, Abercrombie and Finch. So where a lot of models are at, or young models want to get started to get taken advantage of and to be trafficked around. So there you go. Bath and Body Works maintained a lengthy financial relationship with Epstein, who handles his investments for many years. A lengthy investigation from the New York Times in November. Wexner is attributed as the person who launched Epstein's financial status from millionaire to plutocrat. Aside from money, his greatest value to Epstein was that he imbued him with the new credibility and credentials, the reporters wrote. So in other words, he's being labeled as a co-conspirator with Epstein by the FBI. FBI, hey, do the meme. FBI, go to Leslie Wexner's house and do the thing. FBI, open up and blow up his door and ransack it. Come on, you do that to poor people's homes all the time. You do that when you're going after cartel. Listen, FBI, come on. Just go to one of these fancy billionaire mansions, knock down their door with a tank. Come on, do it. Or do you got the stones to do it? Oh, wait, no, you can't. Everywhere across the world, we're seeing justice being done. So as for Sultan Ahmed bin Salman, he's a Dubai-based businessman. He's the one who sent Epstein that torture video. Recently disclosed a document revealed that Sultan Ahmed bin Salman emailed Epstein in 2015 that he met a girl. Oh, God, no. 2 years ago, that went to an American university in Dubai, was the best sex I ever had. Amazing body. She got engaged, but now she back with me, he said. Oh, God, I feel sorry for the husband. Massie also said that since the names were unredacted, it appears that Justice Department confirmed Solomon was a recipient of an email from Epstein in which he said, I love the torture video. Jesus Christ. Sick bastards all around. All these people. You got all these people here. These are the guys. Nicola Caputo, what's his name? Okay, a man named Nicola Caputo is an Italian politician who represented his country in the European Parliament between 2014 and 2019 before taking a senior position in Campania's regional administration, but no verified evidence confirms that this individual is mentioned in the official release documents. The established news organizations have not corroborated any link between him and the files. Again, there's a couple other people here too, but don't worry, all lies will be exposed. As a wise man once said,
all lies will be exposed.
As they should. But there's a little bit more here, folks. Let's find a little bit more here.
They uncovered no credible information about Epstein trafficking underage girls to anyone besides himself. I want to play that moment of what he testified.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no.
Oh, the face of integrity, honor, nobility. Dan Bongino's best man. His buddy, his pal, the man with the straight vision, who doesn't look around like a chameleon. You know him, you love him, Kash Patel.
No credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
I'm asking you, in that stuff, there's nothing that's related to to any other sex traffic, any other people engaged with Epstein in underage sex.
That's correct. To my knowledge, no.
Given what you saw today, does that testimony ring true to you still?
No, the FBI's own documents from 2019 list Leslie Wexner as a co-conspirator in a child sex trafficking case. So, you know, they've got some explaining to do.
Does that mean you think Kash Patel perjured himself?
You know, I thought when he said that, maybe the trick he's using in his mind is that, well, he's considering it prostitution, and maybe what they have is evidence of sex trafficking of people who weren't minors. But what we see tonight is the charge that Lex Wexner was a co-conspirator to was child sex trafficking, and it's on the FBI's own documents from 2019.
So you're saying that should be investigated, basically?
Should absolutely be investigated. The other problem with what Kash Patel said there is we've got, I believe his name's Leon Black, is implicated in these files too, as somebody that, and these are the attorneys at DOJ and in the New York courts who were referencing a case on Black to the DOJ. They say that Epstein trafficked women to Leon Black.
But there's more here, okay? Because Howard Lutnick, all right, there's another person who's associated with Donald Trump's administration, gave Jeffrey Epstein his personal phone number. Oh, he gave him his digits with their assistants coordinating calls between the two. So, I mean, apparently somebody needs to tell Trump that Howard Lutnick is digging himself deeper and deeper in holes that he can't just get out of. Oh, my goodness gracious, Cretaceous.
Republican Congressman from Kentucky, Thomas Massie, is back here with me tonight. And thank you, sir, for being back here. I believe you went back to the Justice Department today. If you did, what more can you tell us about what you saw?
Well, I saw that Lutnick shared his phone number with Epstein and that their assistants were setting up phone calls between them. So there is at least that other connection. I didn't find any new names today. I didn't have a lot of time to spend there. But by the way, it's a room with 4 computers and it's busy all the time. There's always at least 4 congressmen in there. And the main complaint that I hear as we search through these files is that when you unredact some of the files, you encounter more redactions. And then when we ask the DOJ, why are these files redacted? Why can't we remove the redactions? The DOJ says, well, that's the form in which we received the files. Now, here's the problem with that, Caitlin. The legislation that Khanna and I wrote directs the Attorney General to produce the documents, but they have to give all the documents that are in the possession, not of the DOJ, but also of the FBI and also of the U.S. attorneys. So what's happened, it seems, is that the U.S. attorneys and or the FBI have redacted documents, given them to the DOJ, and then the DOJ hasn't done their diligence to go get the original documents.
But the whole point of letting lawmakers go into that room is that you're supposed to be able.
Now, there's something else I want to play because there was, again, these are two interviews that took separate times between yesterday and today as well. But there's something else here, because what people need to realize is Trump and his administration knew they were going to get caught. All right, there's no sugarcoating this. So they weren't being cautious. They were just waiting until they got caught. And they're hoping that people are going to forget about it, because the last video I'm going to play, or at least second to last video I'm going to play in this segment, should piss you off. Don't worry. Listen. We will get to the end of the video. I'll save it for last, because they're going to try and do everything they can to distract you from it. But no matter what, Trump and anyone else that's hoping that the Epstein story dies, in 2025, you guys worked really, a lot of people worked really hard in the establishment, in the media, to try and bury the Epstein story. It was, I almost thought the story would die on the vine. And just to quote my Sopranos friends out there, it would die on the vine, but it didn't die on the vine. It kept on rising from the dead. No matter what wars you launch, no matter what kind of situation you have with ICE going into sanctuary cities, the American people are boom, laser focused on exposing these PDF files and your billionaire friends, Democrat and Republican. And they should be focused on this, because we're witnessing true criminality. If these were poor folk, man, they'd be locked up so fast. Or at least they should, in theory. A drug dealer serves more time behind bars than apparently a PDF file, apparently. Explain that to me. We're seeing other countries go harder than we do. Again, where are my lone wolves and Dexters at? Get out the heavy industrial flamethrower. Get out the heavy industrial wood chipper. We are ruled over by sycophants, monsters who wear human flesh and pretend to be one of us. They're not. They send each other torture videos. They talk about taking advantage of girls, young girls, children, trafficking children. Let that boil in your blood as you go to work today. Oh my goodness, our system, our leaders are protecting PDF files. Isn't that great? Your hard tax-paying money? Why pay taxes at this point? No, seriously, go ahead. IRS, explain to us now. Come on, IRS. Explain to me. Why do I need to pay taxes if this is what you're going to do? Pam Bondi, move your lazy ass. Supposed to be the Attorney General. You ain't doing much. Do it. Even my fictional fake characters, Commissar Hans or Deputy Fritz, are itching it. Like, come on, put them in the game. They're ready to arrest people. People need to go behind bars. But, oh, wait, they're billionaires and they own our government. Oops. That's the system we have. Oops, that's the system.
Says the Justice Department is hiding nothing. Is that the retired CEO that you're referencing?
It is.
So that's the co-conspirator, allegedly. We have a system, innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Redacted it after I found it. That's a problem. And I'm glad they've admitted they made a mistake by redacting that.
So you're saying it was redacted when you went in there today, and after you tweeted that, they unredacted it?
Correct. Now he's got 4 other names he needs to unredact. Did he respond to that? There's a list of 20 people. And there's 4 men in there that need to be unredacted. Here's another troubling thing that I found.
Can you say who those 4 men are tonight?
I don't think they're well known. And so if I did, it wouldn't matter, but I could probably say them on the floor of the House. But
Khanna, I played that video, so he already named those names.
I'll give the DOJ a chance to do what they did in these two examples, where I've discovered something and now they've responded. I want to give them a chance to respond and unredact those 4 names. But here's another problem, big problem that I discovered. There's big black screens of complete redactions. And you go in there and look on the computer, sometimes you lift off the black ink and there's white ink redacting files. And so when we asked the people in the room who weren't responsible for the redactions, they said, oh, we think those are how the files were given to us.
Oh, so in other words, it was done on purpose. Now, the thing is, there's been a response now, especially in regards to this alleged co-conspirator. Okay, again, who this alleged co-conspirator is. I want to say his name again, just so you guys got it. So again, Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, Les Wexner. And citizens now are tracking down lawyers, enablers, and politicians who allegedly helped Les Wexner evade justice for trafficking children with Jeffrey Epstein. One citizen tells them straight to their face that a storm's coming, because now here's the twisty twist. Here's where the American people, that's right, you watching at home, in case this video isn't censored and you guys are watching it, Democrat or Republican, independent, libertarian, green, socialist, boomer, Gen Xer, millennial, Gen Z, white, black, brown, doesn't matter your color, no matter who you worship, what you believe in. Do you really like the idea, no matter what state you live in, red or blue, big city or small town, that our system is protecting these scumbag people? Because we have to collectively look ourselves in the mirror and wonder, are we good people? Is this what we want for the next generation to inherit? Because I'm pretty sure you don't want that. I'm pretty sure none of us want this. So yes, people are responding, and they don't like it. And you only can push people for so long until they finally bite back and snap back. See, these plans and power of abuse, it's going to blow up in their faces. Quit acting like there won't be any kind of pushback from people, powers that be. You know that line that Tyler Durden says at Fight Club when they arrest the guy that's trying to investigate them? The people you're coming after were the people that cook your food, take out your garbage, sweep your buildings. We guard you when you sleep. Do not fuck with us. Okay? So the top 1%, you've been fucking with us. And now we're pushing back. And this is you know what? If this is the storm that's coming, this is only the beginning, people.
That Leslie Wexner, who is part of a trifecta of sexual abuse scandals.
How you doing? Are we gonna get some justice for the survivors, Mr. T-Berry? Survivors outside. We're gonna get some justice for them. Johnson, you ever get tired of telling lies for these people? You ever get tired of telling lies for these people?
I don't tell any lies.
Where's Wexner? What's he doing today?
You have to ask his people.
Well, his people's right there. Board Chairman John Zeiger is his personal lawyer. Where's Wexner, Zeiger? We got to get you straightened up, brother.
I don't,
You don't think it's a conflict of
I
interest?
speak for the university, only the university.
How's this?
I'll talk to you later. This was fun.
Mr. Carpenter, we're gonna get some justice for the survivors today.
Mr. Marshall,
I know you're.
this gentleman is here accosting people coming into the courtroom. This gentleman right here.
Oh, we see you. There ain't no running.
Wexner's name share the same line with a guy like Woody Hayes?
Well,
he also handpicked Mike Jeffries, the former Abercrombie CEO. He's been indicted for sexual trafficking, interstate prostitution. So that's the trifecta. Wexner.
That's not good. Look, I don't have. If you,
I think Wexner's been tied to Epstein the whole time.
what do you expect? What are you expecting?
I expect some people to talk about it, to get it in the media, to use your office. Leslie Wexner's been running around this city for 40 years, being a sex, in my opinion, being a sex criminal, and you guys act like you got no power. I put you on the spot, and I'm just a lowly county commissioner. You're one of the most powerful people in this county, brother. And you're going to stand here and act, I'm a small bean? Don't play that act with me.
I think.
No, they're all part of that big club. Go ahead, push back at these politicians. They'll be like, oh, we can't because laws and procedure. Yeah, people are tired of hearing that.
I think it's wrong. I think that this needs to come to light, and somebody's going to step up and say, all right, this happened, and agree to it. But you know what's happening at the national level, what's happening here, they're hiding all this stuff. I think it's wrong.
The Wexner facility, that name was put up there with Woody Hayes, the most prestigious name in university history. $5 million donation. 2.5 came from his wife. The other 2.5 came from Jeffrey Epstein, his foundation, which is Del Maxwell. 2.5.
If you want to forward that to me, I'll look at it.
And I'm giving you the heads up because there's a storm coming.
Well, then that's a problem for him if that's the case.
Yeah.
Do I like Les Wexner? I barely know the guy, but do I
Will you
like
give his money back?
like what he's done?
Will you give his money back? Your campaign money?
Give the money back, honey.
He gave me money years ago.
Will you give that money back to charity?
Sure.
Let's say again.
Your campaign money?
He gave me money years ago.
Will you give that money back to charity?
Sure.
Sure. Oh, that was a forced sure right there. It's sort of like a shart that you're trying to hold back, hoping no one did you make a wet one.
All right, there we go. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's a sad state of affairs, brother.
Push back. But see, the thing is, there's also other people too who are quite surprised at overall, I guess, the calmness from, our society. Because the American people, to quote Jimmy Dore, hey, the American people, we are the children of alcoholics. A lot of us come from places where, hey, you got to be quiet or you get slapped in the head. And the thing is, we got to stand up to power. Now, this TikToker whose video I'm going to play, she's got 6.4 million followers. And, I want to play this video because, again, it's a reaction from people. And everyone needs to start being very vocal about it. I don't care about ICE right now. I don't care about wars overseas. I want all the wars to end. I think all this BS that's happening, the surveillance state that we are in, the censorship that we are dealing, it's a god-awful nightmare. And the thing is, it all routes back to Epstein. I blame it all on Epstein and the politicians and the top 1%ers and the people involved in it that helped create it. And when I look at this, again, she's right.
Are we all seeing what's being revealed? Are we all paying attention to the things that are coming out from these files? Because I'm worried that I'm going to have to try and explain to somebody what I'm hearing and seeing, and I'm going to sound like I'm experiencing psychosis because I feel like I'm experiencing psychosis. I can't even sleep. I'm so fucking angry. I'm petrified. This is some of the most vile, most demonic shit I have ever even fathomed. Like, it is unfathomable. And I feel like people are not paying attention. I feel like we are underreacting. I feel like I'm very worried that when we are exposed to such distressing information, like we are being overloaded with the most appalling news ever, that we numb ourselves and we block it out because it's too much, which is like a totally valid human experience and thing to do. But like, we cannot do that. We cannot do that because like, are these fucking fucked up freaks like sitting there laughing, being like, well, everything's out and nothing's gonna happen, and like, look, we got away with it. And like, we got away with the most horrifying stuff that it's not even humanly possible to believe that this is happening. Like, I literally cannot wrap my mind around the fact that these things happened. It is unconscionable. And like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Genuinely, what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Confront power. That means each of us getting out of our little safe space and bubbles and confronting it, not letting this story die, because I want to make you guys uncomfortable right now. There are other Epsteins and Miss Maxwells out there that are doing everything they can to reestablish what Jeffrey and Miss Maxwell created for the new generation of wonderful leaders and businessmen and billionaires and sick PDF files out there. They're creating a whole new system. So if we don't oppose this evil now, it will come back as a multi-headed hydra. In fact, it's already here. It's already forming. Evil must be opposed, as it should be. I want to play something else here too, because I'm noticing even here in the media, we got people saying like, "Hey, where's the justice at?"
Here's what I don't understand though: why were these names redacted in the first place?
To protect power.
What? And why did they tell us that there were no names if they were simultaneously redacting those names? Why is the DOJ hiding any people's names? Why are they protecting these people? Like Thomas Massie asking the same question, posting that the Sultan was the one responding to an email in which Epstein claimed to have, quote, loved the torture video. Todd Blanche tried to run a cover saying, oh, the law requires redactions for personally identified information, including an email address. That was today. That's wrong. And the fact that he doesn't even know what the law is an even bigger problem. Community Notes got the Deputy Attorney General today. Got him good. Look, if he reads the Epstein Files Transparency Act, he would know that the redactions only applies to the victims. The Attorney General may, quote, withhold or redact the segregable portions of the records that contain personally identifiable information of victims or victims' personal and medical files and similar files disclosed of what nature which constitute clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. And the more they try to hide it, they as in the DOJ, the more people like me and other people are going to push. Again, it's like the DOJ is like trying to help the Republicans lose the midterms. This should have been a layup.
No, man. No, it's not about protect. It's not helping the Republicans win. No, screw that. It doesn't matter who wins the White House. It doesn't matter who wins Congress or the Senate. It doesn't matter. Expose all these people. Expose all these people. But listen, I want to let you guys know here, all right? Epstein, Maxwell, see, they're part of the system, and there's others like them out there who'll do whatever they can to make sure the system stays functioning. Don't be surprised if Miss Maxwell gets moved to even a much more cozier place, because right now she was serving time, hard time, in a maximum security prison, and now she's quite comfortable at Club Fed, which is a posh little place for white-collar criminals.
Welcome. I believe Maxwell's attorney told everyone beforehand she wasn't going to say a word. What options does the committee have in that case?
Well, for her, nothing, ma'am. I was the one that called it, made the motion, the original motion to subpoena her. I think her attorney's advising her, as her attorney should. You know, she'll get clemency and she'll spill the beans. And I don't know. I don't see that happening. I see maybe she gets out early on good behavior and does a humongous book deal and probably ends up committing suicide by getting shot in the back of the head 5 times. Because this thing goes very deep, and the people involved in it are very powerful.
Wow, that is.
So yeah, so like that scene from Eyes Wide Shut where Tom Cruise's character is confronted after it's exposed that he's not supposed to be there at a little fun event where everyone's acting weird, wearing masks and doing all sorts of crazy things. You know, they threaten him that there'll be dire consequences for him and his family. Well, you know what? Let's expose them then. Let's call them all out. Maxwell's not apologizing. Maxwell's not going to do anything. See, what she's trying to do is keep quiet so she can get that oh-so-coveted presidential pardon. And don't be surprised if she gets it. And if she does get it, everyone make your surprise face.
That is sort of shocking to even hear that. But yeah, it was a pretty messed up group of people that were doing these things, and no telling. The Clintons are set to give their depositions. Go ahead.
I'm still one of those that believes Epstein didn't kill himself, ma'am. I just don't think he did.
Well, Clinton's coming in. They'll give their depositions, we think. Do you know if they're going to plead the Fifth? Have they hinted at anything?
No, ma'am, but there's a reason that they're not in prison, and the reason that he was in the White House for 2 terms and she was Secretary of State, because they are very slippery and they're very smart, and I think they're an evil pair. I think she's probably the brains behind the operation, but I
like that photo of her looking all crazy and goofy at the 2016 Democrat primary in Philadelphia. May that picture live forever. That's the closest she'll ever get to the presidency. And I'm so glad that she never got it, because remember, folks, her campaign even took money from Harvey Weinstein. And there were some actors and actresses that even kind of gave her heads up before the whole Weinstein thing blew up. Like, hey, you got to be careful, this Weinstein guy. And don't worry about it. They all know each other. It's a big club. It's a big club.
I don't think we'll get much on them. I know a lot of people are wanting us to get them, and it'll be great clickbait, I'm sure. But I think when it comes down to it, they'll either bail or they won't answer very many questions and be very evasive and be very smug, because in this world, there are two forms of justice, those like the Clintons and for the rest of us. And unfortunately, I don't see them being, everybody says, we'll put them in handcuffs, all this stuff, all that's talk. The law's got to back you up on it.
And see, Trump's never going to arrest Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton. Just like no one was ever going to arrest Trump. All that court drama that Trump was going through in 2024, it was BS from the beginning, but no one was ever going to arrest him. Just like how Trump's never going to go after Obama or the Clintons. They're all buddies. It's just all talk. You get more authentic action and words of action from an ECW script, from a WCW script, or from a WWE script, okay? You find more authenticity there than anything you hear these politicians talk about. Because listen, folks, listen. Hoping that the Clintons are going to say something. They ain't going to say anything. I mean, here's a side-by-side of both Epstein and his wonderful squeeze, Miss Maxwell.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my 5th Amendment right to silence.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We plead the 5th. We plead the 5th. We plead the 5th. They plead the 5th. But you want to know what Trump and his administration wants you to do? Hey, listen, I told you I'd play a video that gets you angry. I promised you, and a promise is a promise. Hardlands Media delivers its promises, of course. Hey, it's a press secretary. What do you want us to do about the Epstein files?
And that remains true. And this call, if it did happen, corroborates exactly what President Trump has said from the beginning. And I'm sure many of you, when you read that alleged FBI report, probably thought to yourself, wow, this really cracks our narrative that we've been trying to push about this president for many years. So we're moving on from that. Reagan.
We're moving on. Moving on from that. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. So in other words, we're moving on from that. Moving on from the Epstein files. Isn't that great? Well, no, we're not. No, the hell we are not. The American people are not going to move on from this. We're not going to ignore this. We are not going to dismiss this. This right now has been the biggest exposure of the corrupt elite, the billionaires, the sick philanthropists, the hypocritical philosophers and intellectuals, the false actors and actresses, the directors and movie producers, the musicians and music labels, the video game industry, the politicians, the royalty. Every one of them are being exposed for the frauds and deviant bastards that they are. There's an anime now that's coming in my head again. And you know what? Maybe, I got to find a way to maybe watch it for a movie night or something like that. Or maybe do like some sort of like sit down. I got to figure out a way. But many of you may not remember this 2005 anime that came out called Speed Grapher. And man, I had a chance to rewatch a few episodes of it. I'm like, wow. Really hit the nail on the head on that one. Depraved culture, depraved billionaires preying on the rest of us, creating their sick society, feasting upon us. Speed Grapher has aged like fine wine. We're ruled over by the absolute joker. Absolute jokers, to be more precise. Listen, just because Epstein and Maxwell are kind of sort of out of the picture doesn't mean that their system of blackmail, intrigue, and human and child trafficking hasn't disappeared. No, it's still around. It's still here. And I'll say this right now, with the files revealing that Epstein buying sulfuric acid, I mean, why do you have to buy 55 gallons of sulfuric acid? By the way, side note, little project, See if Epstein or any of his friends or proxies knew, talked about, or owned or had properties adjacent to or nearby pig farms. I know. Want to dispose of a body? Yes, there's sulfuric acid, or you could bury it in a far-off ranch, but then there's pig farms too. We're dealing with evil people here, so expect them to be evil. I mean, my goodness, Epstein has responded, I love the torture video you sent me. Who in the right rational mind says, oh, I love that torture video? But instead, oh no, we get this. Hold on. No. We get this. We get this from our fantastic press secretary about the Epstein files. Say again, lady.
And that remains true. And this call, if it did happen, corroborates exactly what President Trump has said from the beginning. And I'm sure many of you, when you read that alleged FBI report, probably thought to yourself, wow, this really cracks our narrative that we've been trying to push about this president for many years. So we're moving on from that.
No, we're not. And anyone says we should move on, here's what I think about it.
And here's what I think about it.
There you go. Exactly. All right. And anyone that's going to be defending or saying, oh, no, we got to defend my favorite person. No, if they're in the Epstein files, the answer is there's no such thing as innocence, only varying degrees of guilt. Okay. Justice for the victims. They should. So how do we end this segment? Well, there's going to be more revelations about the Epstein files, especially what's going to happen tomorrow and the day after and the day after tomorrow, because the story cannot die. And it is our social responsibility to be talking about this. These people need to be exposed. And I want to salute Thomas Massie and Khanna for doing the most difficult task at hand, because they're going up against the most powerful people who for decades upon decades helped facilitate and grow this sick system that Epstein was involved in. So, yeah, this is like a scenario where the eyes wide shut people have been exposed, and we have to expose them all. If we're the good people that we say we are, we must expose all these evil bastards. And, you know, Trump might say, oh, or anybody might say, well, this might break apart the country. Who in their rational mind says, yes, I want to be governed by a system like this and be governed by people who protect the PDF file? I don't think so. No. A system like that needs to be broken apart piece by piece. And anyone that's facilitating it, funding it, supporting it needs to go. So we should have at least some humor. A little bit. Before we end. For example, Laura Loomer somehow sent out her squeaky voiced teen sidekick again to go after Thomas Massie. Hey, folks, listen. Listen, I'm not being mean here. This kid sounds like the squeaky voiced teen from The Simpsons. Mr. Simpson, you're not supposed to park there.
Congressman Massie, in the last week, you would have called on President Trump to apologize to Barack Obama, and you're standing here with Congressman Khanna at a press conference implying that the president is a pedophile protector. Are you hating on Trump?
That's a stupid ass question. Are you hating on Trump? Mr. Simpson, you can't park here. Shut up.
Are you hating on Trump to try out for CNN? I didn't crack out.
Blockers are wearing off.
Oh, really?
Laura Loomer's sidekick. You better figure. Hey, listen, buddy. Listen. When your balls drop, go ahead and go back to asking questions. But you ask stupid questions, all right? You're asking stupid questions. Stop effing around here. Listen to this guy again.
The president is a pedophile protector. Are you hating on Trump to try out for CNN? I didn't crack out.
Blockers are wearing off.
Oh, really? Congressman, you need to answer my question.
Congressman, you didn't answer my question. You didn't answer that question. Squeaky voiced teen. You bring shame to the squeaky voiced teen from The Simpsons. We should have a little bit of humor, though. Just some humor, though. By the way, whoever did this, you're a mad dog genius.
Hillary Clinton has left to live for right now is to destroy Donald Trump. We hide the Bibles. We write the Bibles. We hide the Bibles. We write the Bibles. And you did it. You did it. We did it. You 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 did it. We fed that woman as a shark. We fed that woman to the shark. We did it. You did it. We fed that woman to the shark. We fed her to the shark. Destroy. We fed her to the shark. We did it. You did it. We fed her to the shark. We fed her to the shark. Destroy. We fed her to the shark. Donald Trump. We did it. You did it. We fed her to the shark. And America is paralyzed by this. And the government might fall. I mean, there's going to be massive protests. There's going to be riots. Still see my show on Mother's Day in Long Island in May. Saturday, Sunday. It's a homecoming. Bring your mothers.
Good stuff. Good stuff there. So there's going to be more, at least according to what I'm reading right now and delving in deep into the Epstein files. My goodness, folks, if you don't have a strong stomach for it, stay away from it. This is only the beginning, and all these lies, all these scumbag people need to be exposed to the frauds they are. And in fact, there will be a follow-up live stream happening later today at 9 p.m. Central. So set your clocks. 9 p.m. Central, Hardlens Media, Night Riding. We're going to be talking more about the Epstein files as well as other stories that are developing. But Jeffrey Epstein and his scummery, his evil must be exposed. All of these people and these villains, these monsters, these tyrants, these bastards need to be exposed for the inhuman monsters that they are. We know that there's more co-conspirators out there. We know that there's more villains out there. And anyone that's defending these files, anyone that's defending the fact that no one should be paying attention to these files, side-eye them. Call them out for the hypocrites and monsters that they are. This thing must be ripped apart piece by piece. The system must be called out. If we want a better future for the next generation, then we must stand up to this evil. It's clear that our politics and the policies that have been dictating over us. Remember, Epstein had everyone in his hip back pocket. He was involved in every single thing. And in his mind, he viewed us as lesser beings. If you're not part of that rich club, you were inferior to him. If you couldn't do anything for him, he would step on you. And all of his friends, everyone that he associated with, anyone in those emails, think the same way about you. So that means your favorite musician doesn't like you. Your favorite actor, actress doesn't like you. Movie director, movie producer doesn't like you. Gaming industry doesn't like you. Billionaires, you know they don't like you. Politicians, they don't like you. Royalty, they don't like you. So we push back at them. Make our voices loud. Get out there. Speak out. Find out where your elected representative, how they feel about this. And, again, Britannia seems to be moving fast. Other European countries seem to be moving fast, going after anyone who's on the Epstein files. All right. Call up your local representative, state senator, U.S. House representative, U.S. senator, and ask them, why isn't anyone in handcuffs? I mean, come on. Les Wexner deserves that. FBI, open up! He does. He does deserve it. All of them deserve it. Knock down those mansion doors and call these bastards out for who they are. So with that, folks, if you want to help out Hardlens Media, as always, here's a Linktree, Peachtree, Peachtree. All right, check us out. YouTube, X, Rumble, Kick, Patreon. Please support our Patreon. Join our Discord. Join our Substack, Instagram. Follow us all there. All right, as always, please be sure to also check out our Patreon page. Patron supporters, you make the show happen. Without all of you, we would not fundamentally exist. And for that, I'm eternally grateful and thankful for all your support. We got music by Jesse Jet, as always, because Jesse Jet is #1 in the hood. Here's our Patreon page. Patron supporters, you keep the show alive, and we thank you. And if you want to help us out even further, please consider, please, as a cherry on top, consider supporting our GoFundMe. All support is greatly appreciated. Until then, folks, you will see us again later today at 9 p.m. Central. That's a Hardlens Media promise. My name is Kit Cabello. Peace to you guys. Let us all do what we can to build a better future. I'll see you on the flip side. Our gators are beautiful. And you know what the rules are. Pour some whiskey in your coffee, grab yourself a mimosa, smoke a bowl, do some shrooms, chew on some coca leaves, whatever you need to do to get you through this mighty and wicked Wednesday morning. If you're going to work, be safe. You're coming home for work, be safe. And it's your day off. Dance off, pants off to you. Take good care of yourselves, and here's some music by Jesse Jet. I'll see you guys around. Peace and take care.
And you don't stop. Just push through and you don't stop. Broken and bruised, you don't stop. Coughing up fluid, you don't stop. Alright, fresh from the mines that brought you King Midas. Sign of the times, call me Homo detritus. Karma's a beast and its fleas make a plague look childish. Are we home of the brave or the best or the brightest? None of the above, and my answer's as final as one wrong look at one of Brooklyn's finest. Now Barack was a real class act, better walk to The Hague so stylish, where he can perch on a warlord's throne, made a little known Middle East drone violence. Buddy, they were logging mileage while you and your smartphone were both on silent. Too busy hailing Barack as a well-spoken token that prejudice was dead and America had woken up when all along our bigotry was thriving. In a rising red vitriolic tide so thick that it is binding, like a contract of slavery they gave us in writing. Loophole amendments that lay on their minds and then go into hiding, so they can legislate slaves to a 20-cent wage if they're on the inside. The road isn't long, it is wide, and there's not much winding. They just lead you to a lifetime of small crime, bring you back and put you in a line, doing sweatshop labor for a couple fucking dimes. And you can spend your whole life here being beaten by a staff of steroid gym rat white nationals. Do it all for Nike, buddy, do it for the Capitol, do it for the guards so they'll treat you like an animal. Do it when you're sick or you're sore cause you have to. Do it so the prison shareholders can roll in their dough and remodel their bathrooms with walk-in showers that might be a little bit bigger than the cell where you spend 20 hours of your 24, maybe more. They don't count it anymore. They just need you well enough to move a product out the door. They just got a marble countertop and all new tile floors. Heated fucking seats on a bidet that you help them afford. But they won't lift a finger if your warden goes overboard, makes your common area an unspoken COVID ward. Lets you intermingle like he hadn't really done before. Now there's a lot of pits dug up in the yard, all numbered, and he still won't tell you what the number's for. But it's gotta be a warning. And probably the kind that you might need thunder for. When the realization strikes, they've been grouping you tight and restricting your time outside. It won't take a genius to link it to all of the coughing that's keeping you up every night. So if you can't abide slaves, I'll state the case plain. A prisoner shares the same rights. And your tax dollars are lining the pockets of those who ensure that the luxuries of medicine and showers are consistently denied. And you can spend 8 years if you're black because you burned up a trash can, but you won't see any time if you rape when you're young and you're white. And in 5 years' time, that white rapist guy gets a job as a guard where he finds a new prey to dehumanize. And it's ingrained as a part of our system of justice so deeply that it's not scrutinized. And if we're talking capital punishment, all of these assholes with bludgeons who call themselves justice could probably be euthanized. Rather than giving them 70 humans to supervise, torture, and brutalize. Sensitivity training can't teach you the value of human life. It's a message that's basic. Our nature has shaped it and culture is born out of breaking it down and then seeing it crucified. I feel like I'm watching every day with exponentially more lucid eyes, till I'm drooling out my cheek and down my side, and my eyes are the dullest shade of overdose white. When just a dose of reality hits like an overdose might. It's a gross mentality that keeps this country going. Makes you wonder why we're keeping it alive. And we don't stop. Just push through and you don't stop. Coughing up fluid, you don't stop. Guards gang rape you and you don't stop. They take your commissary, you don't stop. Your mother's being buried, you don't stop. When nothing is forgiven, you don't stop. When life's not living, you don't stop. You just push through and you don't stop. Coughing up fluid, you don't stop. God's gang rape you and you don't stop. Broken out throws, you don't stop. They take your commissary, you don't stop. Your mother's being buried, you don't stop. When nothing is forgiven, you don't stop. When life's not living, you don't stop. You just push through, you don't stop. Coughing up fluid, you don't stop. God's gang rape.